Recently, John Rich, an American country music singer-songwriter, appeared on Tucker Carlson's show to discuss the Book of Revelation and its relevance to today's world. John also released a song centered on the Book of Revelation, which has quickly become one of the most downloaded songs in America. This raises the question, why is the Book of Revelation so difficult for people to grasp? For thousands of years, the prophecies in Revelation, Daniel, and other biblical books seemed like science fiction to many people. They struggled to understand how the described events could even be possible. A perfect example of this struggle is found in the 11th chapter of the Book of Revelation. This chapter describes how two witnesses will be killed by the beast from the bottomless pit. Revelation 11:9 states that for 3.5 days, people from around the world will see their dead bodies, and people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. For centuries, Christians were puzzled by how people from all over the world could witness this event in such a short time span. However, with the advent of modern television and live streaming, this once perplexing prophecy can now be easily understood. Today, modern technology allows people to watch live events from anywhere in the world, from the mountains of Nepal to small islands. This capability underscores how the Bible foresaw future events and scenarios that only became possible with technological advancements. Furthermore, I believe there is no book in the Bible that Satan despises more than the Book of Revelation. Throughout history, Revelation has faced more attacks and scrutiny than any other biblical book, and that's because Satan hates it. Revelation reveals who Jesus Christ truly is. Revelation 1:1 introduces it as the revelation of Jesus Christ, with the Greek word apocalypsis, meaning a revealing or unveiling. This book uniquely presents Jesus Christ not just as a historical figure, but as the central figure in God's ultimate plan for the world. Everything leading up to the Armageddon campaign in Revelation serves as an introduction to this grand unveiling of Jesus Christ and his second coming. Jesus will not return as a baby in a manger, but as a king. Throughout his life on earth, Jesus embodied humility and service, born in a humble stable, growing up as a carpenter's son, and performing miracles to help the needy and heal the sick. But his return will be vastly different. He will not come back as a miracle worker. He will come back as a king. His earthly miracles demonstrated his compassion and power, from turning water into wine to raising Lazarus from the dead. Yet in his return, he will reveal to the world exactly who he is, the King of all kings and the Lord of all lords, with supreme authority over all creation. Jesus' first coming was marked by his role as the sacrificial lamb, taking on the sins of the world and offering himself as a sacrifice on the cross. However, his second coming will be marked by his role as the Lion of Judah, reigning in power and glory. He will not return to die on the cross. He will return as king. Revelation 19:11-12 says, "And I saw heaven opened, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war." Recently, John Rich, an American country music singer-songwriter, appeared on Tucker Carlson's show to discuss the Book of Revelation and its implications for our world today. John also released a song focused on the Book of Revelation, which has become one of the most downloaded songs in America. This raises the question, why is the Book of Revelation so difficult for people to understand? For thousands of years, the prophecies in Revelation, Daniel, and other biblical books seemed like science fiction. People struggled to comprehend how these events could be possible. A prime example is found in the 11th chapter of Revelation, which describes how two witnesses will be killed by the beast from the bottomless pit. Revelation 11:9 states that for 3.5 days, people from all over the world will see their dead bodies. People and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. For centuries, Christians were puzzled by how people worldwide could witness this event within such a short time. However, with modern television and live streaming, this once perplexing prophecy is now easily understood. Today, technology allows people to watch live events from anywhere, underscoring how the Bible foresaw future events and scenarios made possible by technological advancements. Additionally, I believe there is no book in the Bible that Satan hates more than the book of Revelation. Throughout history, it has faced more attacks and scrutiny than any other book because it reveals who Jesus Christ truly is. Revelation 1:1 introduces it as the revelation of Jesus Christ, with the Greek word apocalypsis, meaning a revealing or unveiling. This book uniquely presents Jesus Christ not just as a historical figure, but as the central figure in God's ultimate plan. Everything leading up to Armageddon in Revelation serves as an introduction to the grand unveiling of Jesus Christ and his second coming. Jesus will not return as a baby in a manger, but as a king. Throughout his life on earth, Jesus embodied humility and service. Born in a humble stable, growing up as a carpenter's son, and performing miracles to help the needy and heal the sick. But his return will be vastly different. He will not come back as a miracle worker, he will return as a king. His earthly miracles demonstrated his compassion and power, from turning water into wine to raising Lazarus from the dead. Yet in his return, he will reveal to the world who he truly is, the King of all kings and the Lord of all lords, with supreme authority over all creation. Jesus' first coming was marked by his role as the sacrificial lamb, taking on the sins of the world and offering himself as a sacrifice on the cross. However, his second coming will be marked by his role as the Lion of Judah, reigning in power and glory. He will not return to die on the cross, he will return as king. Revelation 19:11-12 says, "And I saw heaven opened, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself." In addition to Revelation being the revelation of Jesus Christ, it reveals to people like us the end of days and the introduction of the mark of the beast. How is it possible to track every human being in the world, know where they are, and monitor how they earn and spend their money? This once seemed impossible, but today we realize they are tracking us. They know exactly where we spend and earn money, because as Revelation states, you won't be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark of the beast. You could replace the word beast with system. Revelation says that without the mark, you won't be able to buy or sell unless you bear the mark of the beast. The passage of scripture that Tucker and John referred to is Revelation 13:16-18. "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. This passage reveals that the Antichrist will have significant global influence and power. The trajectory of the world today seems to be moving towards a scenario where one leader could exert unprecedented control over global affairs. Each year, we witness the consolidation of power in the hands of institutions and governing bodies, often at the expense of individual freedoms and national sovereignties. This shift in power dynamics aligns with the biblical descriptions of the Antichrist's rise to global influence. Technological advancements are crucial in this transition, making the tracking, monitoring, and identification of individuals more sophisticated than ever. Surveillance systems, biometric data collection, and digital identification methods are increasingly being implemented worldwide. For instance, many people are unaware that each person has a unique walking pattern, and now there are cameras that can identify you by your walk rather than your face. Isn't that surprising? Gait recognition is a biometric method that identifies individuals based on their unique walking patterns using advanced algorithms and machine learning to analyze features such as step length, stride length, and body posture. As we move closer to an era where brain chips might become a reality, numerous companies are already conducting trials to implant microchips in people's heads. While these technologies are often justified for security and convenience, they can easily be repurposed to serve the aims of the Antichrist. The Antichrist, as revealed in the Bible, would benefit from such a centralized and invasive system of control. Now imagine living in a world where the Antichrist is in control, and you have a microchip in your brain that reads your thoughts and monitors everything you think, where you go, and what you do. Can you think of anything worse? Consider the growing prevalence of digital currencies and the push towards cashless societies. A world without cash means every purchase you make can be tracked and traced, leading to a complete loss of privacy. These trends not only facilitate economic transactions, but also enable the monitoring of financial activities at an unprecedented level. In a world where buying and selling could be controlled by a single entity, the infrastructure for the mark of the beast, as mentioned in Revelation 13:17, is already being laid in our world today. While digital transactions offer convenience and efficiency, they come with the hidden cost of potential totalitarian control. If something like that happens, read this. I'm embarrassed this is being recorded. I probably shouldn't admit this. I've read Revelation and actually tried to understand it. Last year I didn't realize it. How did I miss that? It says you can't buy or sell without the mark of the beast. Without the mark. Yes, that's John, the Apostle John, on some Greek island 2,000 years ago who said that. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So prior to technology advancing to where it is now in 2024, these things seemed impossible. How's that going to happen? That's a pretty specific call, though. Very specific. So now all the things that need to exist physically are all here, enabling these prophecies to physically manifest. Now, I don't know if that's going to be today, 100 years from now, or 1,000 years from now. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know this. We are indeed in a new era. A shift has taken place, and the book of Revelation should be more real to us than any other generation. Now the question is, what is at the core of the mark of the beast? What is it? What makes it so important that once you take it, you're destined for hell? What is at the core of this mark? The mark of the beast acts as a seal for the followers of the Antichrist and the false prophet. While many have heard of this mark, few understand its true significance and why the dragon, Satan, the Antichrist, and the false prophet are so determined for the inhabitants of the earth to receive it. The answer is simple and is referred to 5 times in Revelation 13 and 3 times between Revelation 14:7 and 11. What the dragon, Satan, the Antichrist, and the false prophet all seek is one word: worship. Isaiah 14:12-14 states, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." Isaiah witnessed the fall of Lucifer and the events that preceded it. The prophet saw the highest of God's angels try to usurp God's throne and capture worship that belonged to God alone. These statements reveal Satan's sinful nature, rebellion, disobedience, self-sufficiency, pride, self-exaltation, and most importantly, his hunger and thirst to be worshipped. Allow me to read to you the 5 statements. 1. I will ascend into heaven. 2. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. 3. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. 4. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. 5. I will be like the Most High. These 5 statements show the very heart of Lucifer and reveal the most important desire of his satanic heart: worship. All of heaven adores and worships God Almighty because worship and adoration belong to Him alone. There is a long history of Satan seeking worship. The devil tempted Jesus Christ with 3 separate temptations, the third of which is particularly relevant here. Matthew 4:8-11 states, Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and saith unto him, All these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then saith Jesus unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. What did the devil want from Jesus? He wanted Jesus to worship him and kneel before him. Satan offered the kingdoms of this world because they are in his hands to give. This is why the Bible describes him as the God of this world. What means more to Satan than the kingdoms of this world? One word: worship. This is a revealing insight into Satan's heart. Worship and recognition are far more precious to him than the possession of worldly kingdoms and their glory. In the book of Isaiah, when Satan fell, he wanted to be like the Most High because he desired the worship that the Most High receives. The dragon represents Lucifer, who seeks to deceive and steal the worship that belongs to God. The Antichrist is primarily a political and military leader, while the false prophet is a religious leader. The false prophet will cause the world to worship the Antichrist as if he were God. He will direct the world to worship at his feet and accept his mark. His power will not just be political, military, or economic. He will have great religious power because the false prophet will convince the world that this Antichrist is God and the only hope of salvation during the Great Tribulation. He will achieve this through coercion and deception, leading the world to bow down and worship the Antichrist, resulting in their destruction and damnation in the lake of fire. In simple terms, the false prophet will direct worship to the Antichrist. One of the central questions of our current era is whether we will allow technology to take away our autonomy and control what we buy or sell. With the advent of AI and other advancements, we know they can track us and monitor our spending. Satan and the Antichrist do not care about our purchases. They use economic coercion to push us towards taking the mark, which represents allegiance and worship. The word worship repeatedly appears in connection with the mark of the beast. At the heart of Satan's desire is worship. 5 times in Revelation 13, the central issue of the mark of the beast is mentioned. Allow me to read those verses to you. Revelation 13:4. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Revelation 13:8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. Revelation 13:12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Revelation 13:15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Lucifer's objective has always been to be worshipped, and the mark of the beast will fulfill this objective for a brief period on earth. During the temptation of Jesus, Satan sought worship from him as well. Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. This is why the issue of the mark of the beast is already relevant today. The core issue surrounding the mark of the beast is worship, and this struggle began when Satan sought to exalt himself above the Most High. In the end times, the mark of the beast will be a literal mark on people's foreheads and right hands, signifying whom they worship. Although the mark of the beast has not yet arrived, the central issue of worship is already at play in the world today. We are living in the book of Revelation, and it speaks to our generation, calling each of us to decide whom we will worship. John Rich later discusses his belief in the post-tribulation rapture. He reads from 2 Thessalonians 2, asserting that the Apostle Paul clearly states Christians will see the Antichrist. He quotes 2 Thessalonians 2:1-4, "Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." Why is it dangerous for Christians to believe they will be raptured before any of these prophesied events occur? It's dangerous because when the mark of the beast appears and the Antichrist, the son of perdition, is revealed, they might dismiss these signs, thinking that can't be the mark of the beast or the Antichrist because I'm still here. This mindset poses a significant risk. If they believe the mark of the beast can't arrive while they are still present, they might mistakenly accept it. The danger is unprecedented now that technology has advanced enough to enable these prophecies' fulfillment. The timing of the rapture in relation to the Great Tribulation is one of the most debated topics in Christian eschatology. Christians worldwide hold varying beliefs about whether the rapture will occur before, during, or after the tribulation. These differing viewpoints, pre-tribulation, mid-tribulation, and post-tribulation, each have substantial scriptural backing and theological arguments. However, my point today is not to advocate for any specific rapture timing, but to emphasize the critical importance of avoiding the mark of the beast. The pre-tribulation rapture view posits that believers will be taken up to meet Christ before the onset of the Great Tribulation, sparing them from the intense period of suffering and God's wrath described in Revelation. This perspective highlights the promise of deliverance and the imminent return of Christ, urging believers to live in constant readiness. In contrast, the mid-tribulation rapture suggests that Christians will endure the first half of the tribulation, characterized by the wrath of Satan, and be raptured before the more severe second half, identified as the wrath of God. This view encourages believers to prepare for some degree of suffering while maintaining hope for deliverance. Lastly, the post-tribulation rapture asserts that believers will experience the entire tribulation period, enduring persecution and trials alongside the rest of the world, and will be raptured at the second coming of Christ. This perspective emphasizes the importance of steadfast faith and endurance. While the timing of the rapture remains a contentious issue, the warning about the mark of the beast is unequivocal and urgent. Revelation 14:9-11 describes the grave consequences for those who accept this mark, which is associated with allegiance to the Antichrist and rejection of God. The passage states, "And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. This dire warning underscores the critical importance of remaining vigilant and faithful, regardless of when one believes the rapture will occur. The seriousness of this mark is underscored by the fact that God sends angels to warn humanity against taking it. This divine intervention highlights the catastrophic spiritual peril of accepting the mark, which seals one's fate for eternal separation from God. In our contemporary culture, we see various symbols and references to the mark of the beast, often trivialized in media, entertainment, and even by some rock bands. However, these representations should not be taken lightly. The biblical warnings make it clear that this mark is a matter of utmost seriousness, far beyond mere symbolism. It represents a deliberate choice to align with evil and reject the salvation offered by Christ. Therefore, regardless of one's stance on the timing of the rapture, the imperative remains the same. Have nothing to do with the mark of the beast. Stay vigilant and discerning, rejecting any form of allegiance that contradicts the teachings of Christ. The debate over the rapture's timing will continue, but the call to steadfast faith and rejection of the mark of the beast is clear and pressing. Stay faithful, stay informed, and stay away from anything associated with this mark, recognizing its profound spiritual implications.